Losing a parent is devastating at any age, but when it happens in early life, it can shape everything. Your sense of security, your identity, and the way you navigate the world. If you've experienced this kind of loss, you probably know the feeling of growing up with a weight that others might not understand. Maybe you felt different from your peers, like they could talk about their parents without hesitation, while for you, it's always been a complicated subject. Maybe you've struggled with emotions that feel too big to handle, like sadness, anger, or even guilt. If this resonates with you, I want you to know that you're not alone. Grieving a parent at a young age is something no child or teen should have to go through. But if you have, it's important to understand how it affects you, and most importantly, how you can heal. 1. The feeling of growing up too fast. When a parent dies early in your life, it can feel like childhood ends overnight. Suddenly, you're expected to take on responsibilities beyond your years. Or maybe you just feel like you should be stronger, more independent, more mature than your peers. Psychologists call this parentification, when a child takes on the role of a caregiver too soon, whether emotionally or practically. If you felt like you had to be the strong one or had trouble letting yourself rely on others, this might be why. But here's the truth. You were just a kid. It was never your job to hold everything together. Even now, as an adult, it's okay to let yourself be cared for. You don't have to do it all alone. 2. The unfinished grief that follows you. Grief isn't something that disappears. It evolves within you. When you lose a parent young, you don't just grieve their absence once. You grieve them in new ways over time. During milestones they should have been there for, during everyday moments when you wonder what life would have been like if they were still around. Psychologist Dr. Mary Frances O'Connor explains that grief is not something you get over. It's something you learn to carry differently as you grow. So if you've ever wondered, why am I still struggling with this so many years later? Know that it's normal. Healing doesn't mean forgetting, it means learning to live with love and loss at the same time. 3. Feeling disconnected from others. Do you ever feel like no one really understands what you've been through? Losing a parent at a young age can create a sense of isolation. While your friends talk about family vacations or complain about their parents being overbearing, you might find it hard to relate. It's not that you don't care, it's just that their worries feel so different from yours. This kind of loneliness is common for people who've experienced childhood loss. Studies show that early parental loss can lead to a deep fear of abandonment and difficulty forming close relationships later in life. But healing comes from connection. Finding a community, whether it's through grief support groups, therapy, or even online spaces, can remind you that you're not alone. There are people out there who do get it. 4. The emotional weight of what ifs. Guilt, anger, regret. These emotions can follow childhood grief for years. Maybe you wonder what you could have done differently. Maybe you feel guilt for moving on, or anger at the world for taking them too soon. Whatever emotions you're feeling, they are valid. According to grief therapist Megan Devine, grief isn't just sadness. It's all the emotions that come with losing someone, including anger and guilt. It's okay to feel them. Suppressing grief can lead to depression and anxiety, while expressing it through therapy, journaling, or even creative outlets can help you process in a healthy way. Learning to keep their memory alive. One of the hardest things about losing a parent early is figuring out how to carry their memory forward. You might feel disconnected from them, especially if you were very young when they passed. But keeping their memory alive doesn't mean living in the past. It means finding ways to honor them in the present. This could be visiting places that were meaningful to them, writing letters to them, even if you can't send them, talking about them with family or close friends, creating something in their honor, a painting, a song, a story. Keeping their memory alive is not about holding on to pain, it's about holding on to love. So, where do you go from here? If you've lost a parent early in life, healing is a lifelong journey. It's okay to grieve, it's okay to struggle, and it's okay to need support. If any of this resonated with you, I encourage you to reach out to a friend, a therapist, or a grief support group. At Psych2Go, we want to create a space where people feel heard and understood. If you're interested in helping foster a support community in your region, email tu@psych2go.net, because no one should have to go through grief alone. Have you experienced loss? If you feel comfortable, share your story in the comments. Let's create a space of support and understanding for those who need it. And if this video helped you, consider liking and subscribing for more content on mental health, healing, and resilience. You might also find how to cope with grief and the psychological effects of growing up too fast to be helpful as well. Take care of yourself, and remember you're not alone. Thank you for being here.